Over to you.
Maria, thank you very much. It's short term until our country gets its act together. That's Donald Trump refining and clarifying his Muslim ban. Good morning, everyone. The Donald is still hogging the headlines. Interviewed by Barbara Walters, he says he's the least bigoted guy around. You check the establishment media today, they really hate him. Hillary Clinton says this: the whole GOP is just like Trump, even though most leading Republicans, except Ted Cruz, have repudiated him. We got a new revelation in the California terror outrage. Saeed Farouk had planned another attack years ago. So is there another terror cell with more conspirators still on the loose? Look at this, please. We're almost there. Gas now at $2.01 a gallon. With oil below $40, we should be in the $1.90s by Christmas. What a wonderful day to be in the news business. Varney and Company is about to begin. All right, now this, you could call it a $120 billion chemistry experiment if it goes through. DuPont and Dow Chemical in advanced talks to merge. Both stocks to open higher. First off, have a look at DuPont. That's going to be up about 8%. How about Dow Chemical? Also up about 8%. Big gains for both of them. A generation ago, a Dow-DuPont merger would have been headline news for a month. Yeah. But America has moved on from an industrial economy to a technology economy. More on what I call the shift later. You okay with that? No?
I'm okay with that. I like that.
It is a shift. It is a shift.
It is a shift.
Okay. Interesting story, but I'm not going to dwell on it. The Dow, as in Dow Industrials, they're going to open little change, maybe down 20. That's after yesterday's big sell-off. We have no clue whether the sell-off is over, but we will ask the question, is it over? Stocks came down because of oil yesterday when it dropped below 40, hit a low of 36. Was that the bottom? No clue. But again, we will ask. It's 37 and change this morning. This, hold on, pause. I think we're going to play the trumpets. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Don't you love it, boys and girls? Don't you love that? $2.01. That is the national average on regular. Sure looks like the $1.90s by Christmas. By the way, in Missouri, the average is all the way down to $1.78.
Yeah, show me state, show me cheap gas.
Don't you love $1.78 already?
Fantastic.
That could be $1.50 by Christmas if
Absolutely.
This goes on. All right, let's get serious. Donald Trump, he's not walking back what he said about Muslims, but he did qualify it. Roll tape.
Do you regret your ban on Muslims, which some people think is un-American?
Not at all. We have to do the right things. It's short term. Let our country get its act together.
Are you a bigot?
Not at all. Probably the least of anybody you've ever met. I'm the worst thing that's ever happened to ISIS. The people in my party fully understand that.
Meghan McCain is here. Meghan, welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you, too.
Now, he qualified his ban. Strictly short term is what he said. Will you roll back some of your opposition to Trump? Because I know he was nasty to your dad.
I know.
Are you going to roll back your dislike of the man?
No, I'm not this morning. I'm not going to be the second person to make news on your show this week for that reason. But my problem with this is, other than the fact that it's unconstitutional, it's impossible to ban every Muslim from coming into this country. Does this mean we're also banning the King of Jordan? Donald Trump has a golf course in Dubai, so I want to know if he's going to be shutting down his golf course in the Middle East, if he really is this threatened by all Muslims. I think it's very divisive rhetoric. He was trending all over Twitter last night for all the wrong reasons.
That's true.
I know you don't care.
No,
I care.
I do care. But I'm thinking this. He stepped into a vacuum because we don't have a plan to deal with terror. President Obama didn't give us a plan on Sunday night.
No,
but Donald Trump, you might not like the plan. You may think it's unconstitutional, un-American, bigoted, whatever, but it's a plan.
There are many people, including last night on Mr. O'Reilly's show here on Fox News, saying that this rhetoric actually helps terrorists because it feeds into what Muslims already think about Americans hating Muslims. So anything that's going to feed into helping terrorists, I'm obviously against. There are many people with really concrete, definitive plans, including Senator Lindsey Graham, who I know isn't doing terribly well in the polls. My father. There are many people that are trying to defeat ISIS. Unfortunately, I'm just grinning and bearing it over the next 14 months until President Obama is out of office.
Let me raise the issue of Hillary Clinton. She says the other Republican candidates are no different from Trump. Listen to this.
Some of his Republican candidates are saying that his latest comments have gone too far. But the truth is, many of them have also said extreme things about Muslims. Their language may be more veiled than Trump's, but their ideas are not so different. We are at war not with barbarous, violent murderers, but with an entire religion.
She is trying to paint Republicans with the Trump brush.
Yeah, that's what liberals do, and it's really convenient for her to say that all Republicans are like Donald Trump. And as you said at the beginning of the show, there's not one person except Ted Cruz that hasn't come out and denounced what Donald Trump said about banning Muslims. Hillary Clinton should be threatened right now. She should be running scared. Her negative numbers are through the roof, especially with women, which I love because I think it's ironic on so many different levels. She has to do things like this. It's really cheap and dirty politics, but we as Americans should expect nothing less from Hillary Clinton at this point.
I do think that Hillary should be questioned about Islam and women.
Oh, completely.
Where is the women's movement on this? I mean, I've not heard anything from them.
Absolutely. That's a very good point, sir. I haven't heard one word.
The shooter, well, the killer in California, the woman, she wore the veil completely. Her brother-in-law didn't even know what she looked like.
Yeah.
And she didn't drive.
She also came here on a fiancé visa, which is one of the things I think we should really be analyzing exactly how people are getting into this country with what visas. Completely banning Muslims is not the answer, but going through what channels people are getting into this country. I'm as angry as everybody else that this happened. I'm as angry that these people are still filtering in here. I live in New York City. I think Hillary Clinton is absolutely the last person we need handling this because she clearly knows nothing and she's just going to use cheap and dirty politics.
Meghan McCain, there you have it, everybody.
I can't stand Hillary Clinton. I have a hard time keeping it together on this show sometimes.
Really?
I know, shocked.
Never known that. Okay. Meghan, thank you very much indeed. Now, I've got a new development, two actually, on the terror front. The feds believe that Saeed Farouk planned an earlier attack years ago, way before the California outrage. There's another development. The wife, Tashfeen Malik, was an operative. I guess that means she was trained and ordered into action by a known terror group. Congressman Austin Scott is here, Republican. Now, the bill in Congress, sir, to check visa applications more closely, that would not have stopped, would not have kept Saeed Farouk out of the country. So what are you going to do about finding and rooting out the jihadis who are already here?
So that's right. But the bill that we passed, I would remind you, passed 400 plus yes votes to it. So Congress is working together to resolve these problems. It is the first step. We're going to continue to look at each and every gap that we have, Stuart, and you'll see additional legislation coming forward as well.
Can you give me a hint? I just need a hint because everybody's asking the same question. They're here. We know they're here. And they've attacked already. They're already here. What will Congress do about the ones already here?
So I think the key there, number one, is making sure that we continue to expand our intelligence networks, giving our law enforcement agencies, and if necessary, our military, the ability to track these people. Anytime they leave our country, we need to be tracking them to find out where they may be going to, if they have come here on any type of visa. And again, Stuart, it's a matter of making sure that those men and women that are protecting us are getting the support that they need from us in the ability to expand the intelligence network. And quite honestly, instead of attacking them from the White House, our law enforcement, and our military, we ought to be supporting them.
Okay. Now, Donald Trump says, short term, we should keep Muslims out until we get our act together. Will you offer any support for that point of view?
Absolutely not. You know, Stuart, this country was founded on religious freedom. The First Amendment is based on religious freedom. It specifically says that we can't do that. And the reason we still have a First Amendment is that we have the Second Amendment. And so quite honestly, we've got a person in the White House wanting to take away the Second Amendment and a person running for president wanting to take away the First. And so it's just his proposal is ridiculous. And quite honestly, we need to be having serious discussions about how we protect this country.
One last point. President Carter, during the hostage crisis in the late 1970s, kept out almost all Iranians. Anybody coming from that country, you're out. He did that in the 1970s. That's a precedent of sorts.
But that's not a precedent based on religion of an individual. That's a precedent based on where somebody comes from. I absolutely think that it makes sense that when we have countries around the world where we know that we have terrorist networks that are trying to get into America, it makes sense that we take a much harder look at any of those people who are coming to this country or who have come to this country. And I would again remind people that if you're a United States citizen, citizens have constitutional rights, but somebody who's in this country as a guest on a visa, those people do not have constitutional rights. Okay. And so if we have any reason to believe that any of them that are here on visas are part of any network, then they should be deported immediately.
Okay. Congressman Austin Scott, we appreciate you being with us, sir. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you, Stuart.
Yes, sir.